Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Ink It Up tutorial, you are going to learn new heat embossing techniques, and this time we're going to be focusing on the resist technique. We will use the trees from this Waterfront stamp set as we did last time, and I'm going to go over the card I made last time. I'm going to show you how I achieved this effect, because we left off with just doing the trees, and I'm going to finish off this card. Then I'm going to show you the resist technique. Hi Carmen, with this scene here. And that scene involves, again, this snowfront, the trees from the snowfront, some snow from this set. I don't mean snowfront, Waterfront. We do have a stamp set called Snowfront. So this stamp set we're going to use is Waterfront. Hi Bree. And we're going to use these two parts of the Waterfront. Then we're going to use these snowmen. Hi Cheryl. These two snowmen and some snowflakes and the sentiments from Snowman season. All right, and Yvonne too. Nice that you caught me live. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Not to mention, and I'm going to try to mention it again, but there is, hi Barbara, a sale. And the sale is going to be 15% off the stamps, these stamps, at about 60 stamp sets. And it's all happening September 23rd. So hopefully you catch this video in time to catch our sale. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Now, I'm going to start off, because before I start using what I call and what I tell my students in my craft club, like invisible ink, and before I start using Versamark and you can't see what I'm doing and you're going to say, I don't see anything happening. What I want to do first is work on these cards, because then you can actually see what's happening. And then you'll get an understanding of the resist technique. And then when I show you how to make this card, even though it's going to be invisible most of the time, then you'll understand at least what's going on. So what I've done here, this is a review from last week. I'm going to show you how I made this card. Not last week, it was only like 3 days ago. In the last Ink It Up tutorial, I showed how to create, let me just review in case you want to go back and check that out. I showed how to create these backgrounds. This is Merry Moose. Okay, I showed how to create these glittery and white backgrounds, and how, so this is what I taught you how to do. So now we're going to take that concept. We're going to use, I already stamped the trees using Merry Moose. And let's see, I used Merry Moose for these trees. Shaded Spruce, I did some off stamping. So this, I let that dry. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take the Versamark ink and I'm going to add trees to the front of the scene. Okay, I made 2 of them in case I really mess up. We only need to do it to 1 card, but we'll see how it happens. So these trees are from Waterfront. So use whatever trees you have for the background. All crafters have trees of some kind. Okay, use some detailed trees in your background. Then use your less detailed trees in the foreground. And it kind of just honestly came out better than I thought. Not even as I planned, really. But it just kind of came out better than I thought. So here we go. We're going to put some Versamark. It's the invisible ink. We're going to put some on the scene. Okay, can't see it. That's why I have the trees in the background. So you can see them. And I'm just going along. And I'm going to do this, I don't know, 7 times or so. Because I want some of these green trees sticking out. I'll even do a little bit more right there. I want the green. I want a little bit of the green. But then I want some snow covering the trees. Okay, so this is, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that one. We'll give you something to look at as I heat emboss. We'll just kind of give you these other ones to look at from last time. Lots of fun stuff to look at. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this before it dries, and you can use, I think I'm working with let's use white, because that's what I did last time. My embossing powders are a hot mess, but we're going to use my white embossing powder for this. Now, it really doesn't matter if you use clear or white, but well, it does matter for this one. You want to use white for this one, for these trees, because you want the white to kind of overshadow the green trees. So actually use white. But later when I show you the snowman technique, you can use clear or white. So basically you want it to stick. So we used Versamark. And now all this powder is sticking. And I'll show you how to use the embossing buddy in a minute too. So the powder is sticking on there. It usually doesn't take me so long. I'm just being a little more careful and dramatic because really I don't always get all my powder to stick. So what I do is I turn it over, and you know, sometimes I have to go over it later. Flick all that extra powder off. And it doesn't matter that I have a few extra little pieces there. So sometimes I just rub off my extra pieces. Or you can take, this is a little makeup brush, and you get rid of any extra powder. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss. So make sure this is closed. Make sure your Versamark's closed. Make sure you move your powders away. This one has lots of powder. I just spilled powder all over that guy. So here's what we're going for. I'm going to heat emboss this. So when you heat emboss, always hold it with, you don't want to hold it with your bare hand and get burnt. Get yourself a little clip like this. Okay, so you hold it with that little clip. Now you're going to get your heat tool, and you got your heat tool. This is Stampin' heat embossing tool, and it has two settings, low and high. I just use the 2 all the time. I use the high setting. Okay, it just blows hot air. It's amazing. You just watch it transform. It's absolutely amazing. Look at that. Look at the ink just transform. It turns white. I'm already burning my hand. I need to move that. There we go. That's why you're holding the clip away. Don't burn your hand like I just did. I mean, I didn't burn it, like seriously burn it. But anyway, I like to kind of go into circular motion. Sometimes I like to put the paper down so it doesn't curl up. So that side is done, that whole side. This side is work. I'm working on this side. Perfect. This is what I wanted. Okay, now I'm just getting that little part of the card. Watch it transform there. It's amazing. So much fun. So if you do this with kids or scouts or something, right, you don't, unless they're, you know, older kids, you'd want to ask, okay, sorry, I know it's very loud. You're going to ask for a parent volunteer and have a heating station. Let the students do all this inking and the Versamark and the powders. Let them do all that. And make sure you have sacrificial powders. You know, just lots of extra powders that you know are going to get all mixed together. And then let someone else do the heating, but still let them hold it. Let them hold it and watch it transform, because this is just amazing. And there's that little part that didn't heat up there. That's just right onto the white paper, so it's no big deal. I'm just going to go ahead and heat that little part up right there. And you just double check it. All right. Good. I'm happy. I think that was done. All right, so that's exactly what I want. So now we're going to do the resist technique. Let me move this. Let me get rid of this piece of paper here. That's my photographic. This is just how I started. And now you're going to make your sky, okay? So the idea of resisting is that this now is heated. So this, the ink is not going to stick to that, okay? It's not going to stick to the white embossing powder. It's only going to stick to the Whisper White. So what I'm using is Balmy Blue. That's my ink I'm using. And I'm using a sponge brayer. Let's see. I'm trying to think if this is the one I just used Pacific Point on. Hold on, let's see. Because I think I better use this one. Yeah. Because I was using a darker color on this. Or I was using Pacific Point, another color. So we'll just use this one because there's not anything on this one. So to ink up your brayer, I just go in one direction onto my stamp pad. And then I just roll it across my card. Okay? I'm just going to roll it across my card. I'm making myself a sky. And it shouldn't get that harsh. If it gets harsh, you just sort of, you can kind of roll it back and forth to kind of make it so it's not so harsh. That line there. Okay, so roll it. And then roll it like that. So I want this to still look like snow-covered hills, like snow-covered hills. So I'm not doing the blue on this part. I'm just doing the blue on the sky for this particular scene. And usually I just go across, but in this case, I'm going back and forth because I wanted to get rid of that harsh line, but that's okay. Kind of looks cool anyway. So normally I would roll like straight across like that. I have lots of sponges and lots of ways I could blend this. I'm kind of liking the darker sky. Darker than the original, darker than this one. I'm liking this darker sky better. And also, like I said, I'm just trying to, whenever you have harsh lines, the way to get rid of them is just keep on blending. And you can use more than our sponge brayers. We have little sponge finger daubers. We have big yellow sponges. Okay, there's lots of things you can use for blending. I'm very happy with that sky. And that's all I would do then. That's it. I'll get this corner up here. So that is how to do what I'm going to teach you now with the snowman scene. That's how to do it. So that's how I accomplished this card. I took the trees with detail. I took the waterfront stamp set, put it over top, pour some white embossing powder, and now it resists the ink. Now you could go one step further and get a baby wipe. If there's any ink, you can even wipe it off. There shouldn't be any ink on top there, but if there is, you can get a paper towel or baby wipe and get it off of there. But mostly it just sticks to the paper because this is whisper white, so the ink sticks to the paper. And then you do extra little things like our mousse, and I taught you in the last tutorial how to color the mousse with the Stampin' blends. I did an extra layer here of Tis the Season Designer Series paper. I did an inside thing. I had the Shaded Spruce card. Okay, so that's how to do that card. Oh, I like how it turned out even better today. This one looked like a blizzard. And I wasn't expecting it to come out like that last time, but then I liked it anyway, and I wanted to make sure I followed up with you. All right, so that's how we got there. Now, let's do this card. Let's do one of these. This one or this one? Well, actually, this is the one I did first. This little stamp here, by the way, is from Gnome for the Holidays. This is Gnome, a different stamp set, not on sale. But so let's do this card here because this is on sale. Like this whole card, we can do this card here from start to finish. But I'll give you both to look at. Okay, and I'll even give you this one to look at too. Okay, I just show you kind of my experimental with some glitter. I did that with some glitter. All right, so let's do this. This is going to be fun, but it's going to be hard to see. That's why I wanted to do the other one first. All right, hi Donna and Honeybee. All right, we are going to take a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It is 4 inches by 5.25. This extra little thing is like 1/8 of an inch bigger. So that's what I'm going to do. You just have a bunch of these cut. I mean, just get them ready because you're going to use them for your projects. So let's move these to the side. Now we're going to take our Versamark. Now we don't have to do the whole scene at once because it'll dry. You know, we want to do some of the scene, put some powder on it, do the next part of the scene, right? This time, since I'm using Whisper White cardstock, I can actually use my clear embossing powders. Okay, so that's what you can do now. This is my hot mess. You know, I told you I'm a messy crafter. This is my clear embossing powder. I have 2 receptacles for it because one got mixed with glitter, one didn't. There's my jar it came from. So let me just show you the lid. I'm using clear Stampin' embossing powder. All right, so we're going to stamp. We do the trees last. Okay, do the trees last. I do the snowman first. Thanks, Carolyn. I'm glad you like my ideas because I just kind of came up with this. It was one of these. This one was sort of a happy accident. And actually, one of my team members, her name's Rita. She said she was asking me which embossing powders to get, and I was telling her, you know, to use clear whenever you want to do the resist technique. I'm looking for my the other snowman. Here it is. This is the snowman I'm looking for. I'm looking for this snowman here. So anyway, so I told her about you need to get clear embossing powder to do the resist technique. And then she was like, well, what's that? And I said, well, geez, I have to be a better team leader. I have to show her what the resist technique is. And then I also told her she needs white. See, this is why I started with the other tutorial. This is why I started with this one, so you could actually see what's going on. I hope you can sort of see what's going on. Let me get my light. Okay, so far, this is what, I'm going to get the light and hopefully not knock over my tripod. See that? I hope you can see that. There it is. Sort of can see it. Well, that's what we just did. We did some embossing. I should have used my little embossing buddy on the paper first so the powder doesn't stick in other spots. And last tutorial I taught you how to make your own embossing buddy. So we're going to take some clear embossing powder. We're just going to heat up this part. We're just going to do this part. We don't have to heat it up, I'm saying. We just have to put the powder on it. We can heat it up later. I just like to get the powder on some of it before it dries. And then I keep building my scene. And by the way, if you mess these up, if you ever mess these up, then don't worry about it. You turn them into little tags and bookmarks. That's all you do. I've messed so many of these up before, and you just cut them down. Cut them down smaller. All right, we're going to keep building our scene. So maybe I'll zoom in a little so you can kind of see my scene. I got the light on there now. Oh, I think you can see it. Finally, I got the right angle. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm taking this snowman. This is my bigger snowman. You can tell I've used these a lot, these stamps from last year. When a stamp is so big like that, you have to use the Versamark upside down on it because it's too big to just dip in the other way. And then we're going to put that on there. So this snowman goes over here to the right. And the reason I put him to the right is he's facing that way. So on the card, I didn't want to put him this way facing off of the scene. I wanted him to face into the scene. Okay, so that's all we need for him. Again, we're using clear embossing powder. Clear because we're using white paper anyway, so we can use clear embossing powder. If we were using a different color paper, I would use white embossing powder. And I'm just putting some on there. Okay. And I'm going to have it all over the place. And this is when I use my little brush. My little makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. You can even get more than one of these for $1. It's like a whole makeup kit for $1. All right, so that's it. So now we have, this already would be cute. Your card would be cute already. But let's make it cuter let's keep going. We're going to build the whole scene. We're going to make, so we have our snowmen, and that's all for this except for the Merry Christmas. So I have that part. I'm going to take him off so oh no, I don't need to take him off. We're going to do the Merry Christmas next. And then we'll do some snow last. I just want to take this. This is a piece of snow. I just want to do the things that go on. I'm going to do the things that come with the snowman season first. We're going to put Merry Christmas right there. And then we'll do the stuff that comes with the Waterfront set. So some Versamark ink. Yeah, I'm a messy crafter. And by the way, if you messed this up and there was some blue ink stuck on it, no big deal. If you mess this up, you just you cover it up with something. That's what I do a lot. So we're going to do that, and then we'll do some snowflakes. Okay, so we got our Merry Christmas. Okay. And now we'll do a few snowflakes, and then we'll be done with that set. We'll be done with the things that came in this set. And the set, again, is Snowman Season, 15% off. Only on September 23rd. Okay, so at midnight, Salt Lake City time. So far we used Merry Christmas, we used this little guy, we used this little guy. Now this one I cut apart because my big snowflake became sort of like a blob. It was just too big to do with this scene. And I cut it off a long time ago. I didn't cut it off this year. I cut it off a long time ago. I cut the photopolymer stamp. I'm using these 3 snowflakes because these are good for embossing. Okay, so we're just going to use those 3 snowflakes and just sort of put them around. We'll put some here. We'll put some over there. Each time sort of tilt them in different directions like that. Okay, and again, before it dries, put some embossing powder. I can get away with not putting embossing powder on so often, but I like to just know that my scene is covered and I can take my time. And there's nothing more fun than building, like it's almost like building a real snowman. This is so fun when you build these little snow scenes, because every time it comes out completely different. That's what I like about it. All right, so that's good. And I don't know how my ink got in there from before, but we're not worried about that because we're going to be covering it with ink anyway. All right, now so now we're done with all the stamps that came out of the snowman season. And now we're going to use the stamps that came out of Waterfront. I have an older version that this is coming in a new packaging now, but Waterfront is one of the 3 stamp sets that I think are like must-have scene builders. One is called Waterfront, one is called Snowfront, and one is called like My Meadow, right? So those 3 together make really cool scenes. I've used this a lot, and anyway, we're going to use the trees, and we're going to use this piece here to make the snow. So I like scene builders because they're abstract, and you just sort of. So we're going to put some snow on the bottom. You attach this to a long stamping block. This is stamping block H. I like using stamping block H for sentiments and for things like snow. And it don't really matter. I've tried it both ways. It don't really matter which way you put it. So let's just put it. We're just going to put snow along the whole bottom of the scene. So that's all. And you can sort of see how it's glowing. And again, ink is getting all over the place. Probably because it's all over my hands. Maybe that's why. Maybe where all that ink is coming from. Like, where's all this blue ink getting into my... And I'm just sort of going up against where the snowman is what I'm doing. Okay, so now I have snow along the bottom, okay? And we can go ahead and just do the trees while we're at it. Let's just go ahead and do the trees. We're going to put trees in the middle. Okay, and we're going to put trees on the side sticking off. So you can just sort of like, you're going to put a tree kind of hanging off the side there. Maybe even one down in the front. It's okay. And then we can do tree over here. And if you want to do more trees in the front, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I think our snow scene is good. And of course, I just rubbed my hand right in that snowflake. All right, do as I say, not as I do. Now we're going to close the Versamark. So, of course, be more careful than me. And you're going to put some some powder all along the bottom. All right, so now we have the powder. Now we need to cover, I think I did the snowflakes and just rubbed it off. So what I'm doing is I'm covering the trees. I'm covering the snowflakes. I think I got everything covered. And now I'm ready to do the heat. Feel the heat. All right, I think it's good. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens. I mean, we don't know. We don't know how it's going to turn out until we actually heat it up. Yeah, I know. I think I'm getting it all over. So it's like you need a baby wipe and then all this stuff. But it doesn't matter because it's all for fun. And what you do is you use my technique of just kind of hiding things after you make mistakes is all kinds of embellishments and stickers and punches and covering up things. So here's our scene. Nice, cool snow scene. So Rita, I hope you're watching and get this whole idea of the resist technique down. Why you need clear embossing powder. This is why you need clear embossing powder. So that you can do fun stuff. And now you can watch it transform right before your eyes. And I just kind of go in circular motions. Okay, that part's done. I'm just going to the right. You probably have a better angle than me. I'm actually looking through. I'm glad you like this. I'm looking through the camera lens, like I'm looking at my paper through the lens of the camera. And Merry Christmas. All right, I'm happy with it. It seems to be heated. Kind of has to puff up. I think I rubbed, you know the reason that one's not heating and the reason that one's not heating is because I think I just rubbed it right off with my thumb earlier. So now you're going to do a little bit of a test. Now you're going to open up your Balmy Blue for your sky, and you're going to use your brayer. And if you're worried your brayer might have too much ink on it, what you can do is sort of just go on your paper first. See, that's okay then. I don't see any big streaks. You know, you can test it on your paper if you're not sure if you're going to have a big streak. Yeah, that's good. No harsh lines. You don't want harsh lines. Maybe because I think I know, I just re-inked this earlier. Look, I'm getting glitter in my ink pad. That's okay. I get glitter on everything. And you can just watch it magically transform. And I can go back over the sky in Pacific Point, which is what I did for some of them. So this was Balmy Blue, but look, it gets darker and darker. You just keep going. Like, we're going to give you something to look at here while I'm doing this. We're going to look at this one. Have something to look at. There you go. I'll put some other cards there so you can kind of not have to just stare at me rolling the brayer the whole time. There you go. Again, that little Christmas wish was from the gnome for the holidays. I just was trying to cover up a little mistake there. And that's how I ended up with the... Now, normally I would go in one order, but for this, it just seemed to be better going back and forth. To make this, with the resisting ones, it was going back and forth worked a little better than going in the same order like I would normally do. And when I go like in order, when I normally do that, it's because I'm just trying to cover it like lightly with ink. But in this case, since I want to cover a lot of ink on these cards, then that's why it seemed to be better to go back and forth like that. I love this snowman season. These snowmen make me so happy because they're just like frolicking and playing with snowballs, and they're just making me so happy. And I like, you know, like I said, it comes out different every time. Yeah, that's why I said that's why I wanted to see. This is why I wanted to show you this one first, so you'd actually have something to see. Whereas this one was like invisible for most of my demonstration, and it only appears at the end, and you're like, what in the world is she doing over there? What is she taking so long and it's still invisible? So now you can see what I'm doing. And it was worth the wait, I hope, to build the scene, because now you have this whole scene. And now we'll cover that little piece up. So now that's how you do it. So this is Balmy Blue, and we're just going to grab some, like a little background for it. We could use this. This was the Tis the Season Designer Series paper. I'm just going to use a little piece of Rea Red because I already have it cut out. And I already have a, you know, like a card base cut out. So this is, I just like to have contrast. So you do something like that. See? Rea Red. And you do your embellishments last, because I made the mistake of trying to put embellishments on here first, and then when you turn it over to put the glue on, or your rolling adhesive, in this case my Stampin Seal Plus, if you put your snowflakes on and then turn it over, it's hard to, you might crush your snowflakes. So put your snowflakes on last after you get your card together. So there's some Seal Plus. And this is, I'm just kind of tucking in. My Seal Plus got the best of me. It got away and oozed out the side a little. So then you put that on. I like doing this way first. I like adhering it now, and then it's easier to adhere to the card, I think. Adhering it to this piece first, and then adhering it to your card works better for me. So then I get my handy dandy, I wasn't sure which color I was going to use. I wasn't sure if I was going to use Rea Red for the back or Night Navy. But we'll go ahead and put Night Navy in the back since I used Rea Red for the front. So what you need to do is just score your, you get two pieces of, in one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you can make two cards, is what I'm trying to say. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I cut it in half, and now I'm scoring it at 4 point. See, it's 8.5 wide. I'm scoring it with the Simply Scored at 4.25. Wait, 4.25? Yeah. It's like I do it all the time and I have to. And while I'm at it, even though I'm not using this Rea Red card yet, hey, while I'm at it, I'm just going to score it, because do everything at once. I sit and score. So I'm thinking of doing something like this for one of my swaps, like some kind of technique of embossing. Because when you emboss, you always get like, you know, you always have the wow factor, right? By the way, this is just a Pampered Chef stone. stone scraper, I mean. I like to use these to flatten my cards. You know, bone folders work, but this thing works better because it's like a giant spatula. Okay, and then I'm just doing this one while I'm at it. It has nothing to do with our tutorial, the Rea Red one. I'm just doing it because now I'll have another card base made, right? And I'll be ready. So now that's ready. And I'm gonna just put my Simply Scored away. So now we're gonna just adhere this to the card. And then we're gonna embellish it with some snowflakes, and I'll show you how to hide up all your little mistakes. So you can do the inside. You can do something like here. Well, I don't remember what this even says. We're going to find out what it says after we stamp it. We're going to stamp it with, we're going to slap it on there. And sometimes your stamps get so used that they fall right off the block. And you have to rinse them because there's glitter on it and dust and glue and who knows what's on there. So what you do is, here it says hoping, well, we'll see what it says. Hoping your season builds, yeah. Hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. Night of Navy. Put that in there. And if you mess it up, you always stamp first. Oops, see how I messed it up a little? Always stamp before you put it inside the card. Because then if you mess it up, you turn it over. Never adhere it to your card and then try to stamp it once it's adhered to your card. Because you do what I did, like you might mess it up. So always stamp it while it's still loose, like this. Hoping this season builds heartwarming memories. That was one of those stamps from the Snowman season. Okay, so we're going to put that inside our Night of Navy card. And this is my messed up side. I'm just using Seal Plus. And I'm probably going to get ink all over it because my ink's all over my hands. So maybe I'll use the side of my hands. What part of my hands don't have ink on them? Here, let's use the embossing buddy to push down on there. All right, so that's the inside of the card. And then the outside of the card is this. With that extra little eighth inch. It's an 1/8 inch of Rea Red. Making that Balmy Blue just pop. You don't want to put Balmy Blue straight onto the Night of Navy, right? Because then you have like this no contrast. So you need the Balmy Blue to pop a little. I'm just going to turn this over and rub on it because if I rub on the white part. So now we can cover up any mistakes with our little embellishments. So I have what's called adhesive back snowflakes. We can put some of them on my scene. And I have all these die cut snowflakes that I was just using. And I just did a tutorial on how to make these other kinds of snowflakes. This was something I did with the scan and cut. By the way, these kind of snowflakes I actually heat embossed as well. But they might be too big. Let's use some little of these these are Balmy Blue snowflakes. They're good for covering mistakes. Little angels. There's we can use cool little things like bling bling like this to make our card pop. You know, because really, when you think about it, it's only one color, right? So that's a cool snowflake too. That would really cover the mistake. But then that would be too big. So I think we need one like that size. When you have just one color, it's good to just, add some extra things to it for dimension. You must just be like, I can't believe how messy she is. All right, where can I put this one? I don't think I need this one. I don't think I need another big snowflake. I think I need some little snowflakes. Because that's not really, that was the only mistake I needed to cover. So, you got your bling. Not that I don't need bling. I just don't need something that big. So, I could use some smaller bling. Like some little stars or something. I have angels. I have kind of a white snowflake. I don't know. It's okay. Here's something cool. I could use something like that. Just nice to have a little bit of extra glitter. There you go. I make it up as I go along. Where to put things. I like to just do things in threes though. So when I didn't even pop the inside of that snowflake out. Oh, probably because when I die cut it, it didn't really pop out that easy. And then then we'll put a few of these little guys on there. These will be cool. These little rhinestones, Balmy Blue rhinestones, just for some extra bling. Then I'll put a bunch of these little snowflakes on there that I just had, the adhesive back snowflakes. They're lots of fun. They're iridescent too. So they come in a couple of different colors. I mean, in the same package. In the same package, you get a couple sheets. I like that they already have the glue dot on them, because if you've ever tried to put glue dots on these guys, it's very hard to put glue dots on them. So I like that they just come like that. I need one over there, and then I'm good. And then I'm happy. All my mistakes are covered up, and I like how fun the scene is. So there you go. And then here's the one I made earlier. Well, here, we'll lay him down. There's the one we just made. Here's the one I made with the gnome for the holiday set. Here's the ones I made in the last Ink It Up tutorial with the moose. So now you have it. So these are the stamp sets that are on sale. This one, Snowman Season, for 15% off, September 23rd. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you about one thing before we go. And it is that, and we have all kinds of fun stuff going on here. Thank you. I'm glad you like this. This month, the month of September, we have two things going on. We have this. We have the special, like during the day of September 30th, we have 60 stamp sets, about 60 from this catalog are on sale. Okay? That's their annual catalog. We also have this catalog going on right now, and that's where the Merry Moose is. It's part of the holiday catalog. But we also have a starter kit special. So really the best day of the month to join the team is the 23rd of September, because that's the day that you also can join. There's a special going on all month, but when you join on the 23rd of September, you also get the 15% off any stamp sets, any of the 60 stamp sets that you put in your starter kit. So that's just like an extra bonus on the 23rd. I really wanted to do a separate video just on that, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it, so I'm just explaining it right now. So during the month of September, you get not only $125 worth of items for $99, you also get this month 2 free stamp sets, 16 card kits, and a pack of rhinestones. And I'm not opening these right now, but I actually just think that these would have been great on my snowmen. If I had remembered, I had to put some of them. But I think my card has enough rhinestones on it, though. But you get a pack of these. You get these 2 stamp sets called Queen Anne's Lace, So Much Love. And you get 16 card packs. Yeah. And you get a lot of stuff, right? And then you get your whatever you get in your starter kit. Okay, so that's the deal. That's the deal this month. Plus a free paper pumpkin kit, plus free shipping, plus catalogs. You get a whole pack of catalogs like this, and a pack of catalogs like this, and a bunch of brochures. And if you want to make it a hobby and just do it for the discount, that's great. If you want to make it into a business, our team will support you. But either way, as a shopper, you can't not get the Snowman Season stamp set and the Waterfront and the Snowfront and the My Meadow. Those are ones I highly recommend. But some of my other favorites are also on sale September 23rd. And those are Way to Go and Zany Zebras, and lots of other cool stamp sets are on sale. So do check out my website where all the details are going to be listed on the 23rd. Well, that's all for now. Let me see if there's any questions. Thanks, Yvonne and Donna and Cheryl and Honeybees and Mommy Kim, my name twin. Barbara. Yeah. I know I have a Stamparatus too, Yvonne. And you know what? I love my Stamparatus, but it's like I keep stuff on it, and then I don't clean it off, and then I'm not ready to use it. I need a bunch of extra plates so I can use it more for tutorials. The Stamparatus is the stamp positioning tool. And a lot of times I have it full because I'm doing projects, and then I don't want to take it all apart to do a tutorial. Like this one involved just sort of making it up as I went along. But you could, if I'm gonna do this for a swap, that's a very good point. If you're doing this for a swap card, you want to make a lot of the same thing, you can use your Stamparatus positioning tool. And you stick this in, and you lower the platform and you could have the snowman appear in the same spot every time. But as you can see, I like building each one to be a little different. But you could do that if you had, like, say, a precise flower or something that you really wanted to be in the same spot. You could use that tool. All right, well, that's all for now. I hope you understand how to do the resist technique now, using clear embossing powder or white embossing powder. When I get around to it, which will be like in a day or two, I will list all the materials I used for this tutorial and in the description of this video. Well, that's all for now. This is the Papered Chef. Thank you for watching today.